in a context whereby Africa needs to regain its union with the Africa diaspora, but also with a view to expand Africa-Caribbean trade and investment relations. The African Export-Import Bank, Afreximbank, has officially launched its Caribbean Community Office in Bridgetown, Barbados. The objective of this Afreximbank CARICOM office is primarily to support the implementation of the partnership agreement between Afreximbank and CARICOM, but equally improving on Africa and Caribbean's trade and investment relations. Another way for the Afreximbank to demonstrate its efforts in the promotion and development of trade between Africa and the Caribbean in line with its diaspora strategy and the African Union's designation of the African diaspora as Africa's sixth region.
It's a special day for all Africans. It may look like a simple ceremony, but I'm told that monumental events are usually started with simple ceremonies, and this appears to me to be one of them. Because today we mark that day when our collective hopes and dreams about reversing the iniquities of the Middle Passage are finally being realized. Today, we begin the process of concretizing our aspirations to make humane trade and investments the vehicle for reuniting brothers and sisters separated by a nefarious and inhumane activity that made others rich on the cracked bones and graves of our people.
The Afreximbank CARICOM office remains critical in facilitating operations of the bank in the Caribbean community. The Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley, went on to laud the establishment of the Afreximbank CARICOM office, noting that this new office is the culmination of promises made by the bank during the first Afro-Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum held in Barbados in 2022.
Our first engagement with the Afreximbank came as a result of the African Medical Supplies platform, because as the rest of the world was seeking to impose export restrictions and to ensure that persons had to pay astronomical prices for goods that would otherwise be available at a fraction of the cost, Africa opened its doors to the Caribbean community and facilitated access to equipment, therapeutics, and ultimately vaccines, with the payment mechanism being through Afreximbank.
During the launch of this office was the signing of an agreement historic host country between the Barbadian Prime Minister Mia Mottley and Professor Benedict Orama, President of Afreximbank. Following this was a series of agreements signed between the CARICOM and Afreximbank, but equally framework agreements. In December 2022, the Board of Directors of Afreximbank approved $1.5 billion funding to enable member states of the Caribbean community that had ratified the partnership agreement with Afreximbank to tap into the bank's various financial instruments. As of July 2023, 11 out of the 15 CARICOM member states had signed the partnership with Afreximbank. The financing will be targeted at supporting critical economic sectors aimed at boosting the development of trade-enabling infrastructure, as well as enhancing trade and investments between Africa and the CARICOM member states.